The substrate must be primed with Chempruf E-primer. Please refer to the printed literature for mix ratios by weight and volume. The primer is a two-component material. Add the resin to a clean mixing container. Also add the hardener. This material can be mixed with a drill equipped with a Jiffy mixer. For this and all other materials, there is information on the product data sheets based on varying temperatures for working time, minimum drying time, and maximum drying time. Apply the primer with a brush or medium nap roller. We're using masonite for demonstrations when typically the substrate would be concrete or steel. The primer should be dry before the next step begins. If the primer is allowed to dry for longer than the maximum drying time, the surface must be sanded and reprimed. The next step is the application of the Chempruf 2211 mortar. A mechanical mixer is recommended for this material. The component should be stirred, the liquid component should be stirred before being added to the clean mixing container. Add the resin first, then add the hardener. It is important to get as much of the resin and hardener materials out of the containers as possible to keep the mix ratios accurate. The mixing blade should be moved back and forth, and a margin trowel should also be used to make sure the material is mixed properly. Slowly add the Chempruf 2000S powder and allow to mix. Again, use a margin trowel to scrape the sides of the container. Mix for approximately 2 minutes or until all the material is mixed thoroughly. Before the floor areas can be installed, the cove should be installed at the perimeter, around any piers, columns, or any other vertical areas within the installation area. The material can be troweled with a finisher's trowel, or for tight areas a margin trowel. Fabric is pre-cut and embedded into the Chempruf 2211 mortar. For the floor to wall intersects, you can use a brush or other small tool to help make the transition. A short nap roller is used to embed the fabric. A ribbed roller is also very beneficial. For this area, care is taken to remove air and embed the fabric properly. Chempruf 2211 saturant is mixed and applied. This material is the same resin and hardener used in the mortar, with no powder. For these small areas, it's often easiest to use a brush, but a roller may be used as well. It's important to thoroughly wet out the fabric to achieve good adhesion to the mortar. When installing floor areas, take the Chempruf 2211 mortar and spread it out onto the substrate. Don't allow too much material to sit in mass in the bucket, as it will generate heat and set or start to cure more quickly. A flat finisher's trowel, cement finisher's trowel, is used to apply the Chempruf 2211 mortar. The base coat is typically installed at about 1/16 inch thickness. The Chempruf 10-ounce reinforcing fabric is applied to the freshly applied or wet Chempruf 2211 mortar. After the fabric is placed, a ribbed roller is used starting in the middle and working out toward the edges. This helps eliminate any air pockets from the reinforcing fabric. The Chempruf 2211 saturant is then applied to the fabric. The next piece of Chempruf reinforcing fabric is then placed overlapped approximately 2 inches onto the adjacent fabric. The ribbed roller again begins in the middle and works toward the edges. And the saturant is applied. The saturant coat must be allowed to harden before applying the mortar top coat. Again, please reference the printed literature for the minimum drying time based on the temperature in the application area. The Chempruf 2211 mortar top coat is also applied at a nominal 1/16 inch thickness. Again, results are best achieved using a flat finisher's trowel. After the mortar top coat has been applied, Chempruf smoothing liquid is rolled onto the surface. Very lightly use a short nap roller and shake out any excess smoothing liquid. This is done primarily to remove trowel marks. Use only enough smoothing liquid so as not to pull the mortar top coat onto the roller. Tools can be cleaned with warm soap and water if cleaned quickly after installation. Solvents such as MEK or others listed on the product data sheets may be used if the product has begun to set a bit. If fully cured, it would have to be removed by mechanical means.